The IGN info blitz continues regarding Red Dead Redemption 2. We just went over who is Arthur Morgan. That's up on the channel for you guys to go check out. Credit to IGN for posting these. They went up to, I guess, Rockstar North, and they had an opportunity to actually get into the game, or at least a demo of Red Dead Redemption 2. Those lucky bastards. So, we went over that. It's already on the channel. We're going to cover all these articles, but I got to do one at a time. So, next, let's see, why Red Dead Redemption 2 is more than just a prequel. I'm very interested in this one. Alright, so why Red Dead Redemption 2 is more than just a prequel. According to IGN, by the way, this article, linked below in the description section, and I'm going to continue to post the other videos later on today. Maybe in a few minutes, maybe in a few hours from now. But if you're new to the channel and you're excited for Red Dead Redemption 2 just as much as I am, you're welcome to join the GeauxBurns Nation. Hit the subscribe button. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, all the social media to the GeauxBurns Nation. Link below in the description section. Let's see, quote unquote, it's a companion piece. They exist together. They're connected. Prequel isn't really the best way to describe Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, because of that number thing, right? I've always had issue with that. I always wanted them to call it something else, like Red Dead Revolution or Red Dead Renegades, but alas, we're stuck with Red Dead Redemption 2 for better or worse. Hopefully for the better. Yes, events strictly take place before those of the last game, 1899, not 1911. And yes, it features John Marston to some extent, but the word prequel isn't right. It carries unwanted connotations. While it looks like we'll discover the origin of those scars, the game isn't about filling the history of Marston, tracing back to the origins of all his traits, to some neat moment in past Red Dead 2, is aiming at a more complex and definitive, more interesting relationship with its predecessor. Quote, it's a companion piece, Rob Nelson, co-studio head of Rockstar North, tells IGN. They exist together. They're connected. There's a lot more connective tissue between the two stories and lots of characters that you've seen before that you'll see again. Now, we're going to read the rest of the article, I promise, but let's go over these screenshots real quick. Okay, so this one says, Arthur, Bill, Lenny, and Karen are fleeing from the law on horseback, heading towards the railroad to shake their pursuers. So, we've learned the name of a few more of Dutch's gang. We already knew about Bill Williamson. He's in the front. And then you have two others, Lenny and Karen. Karen is obviously in the red dress, unless, you know, that's Lenny. Probably not. But anyways, a really cool shot. I love that image. By the way, you can check out these images yourself over at IGN. And next one is a bear attack. Install your horse. If your bond is strong, it'll be calmer under stress, enabling you to turn and escape. Or just get into an all-out bear war just like we did back in Red Dead Redemption. Those were the best, being 2 or 3 or 4 bears coming after you at once. It was awesome. Next, let's see. Large animals you've hunted and killed, they're carried on the back of your horse. They'll decay over time, so make sure you get them back to camp as fast as possible. So, it's not going to be like your typical video game where you kill an animal like a deer or a rabbit, and the meat just stays in your inventory forever and it doesn't go bad. Like, there is an expiration date to the meat that you collect off of hunting. So just bear that in mind. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. Now we know. Yeah, now we know. All right, so next, younger John Marston stars in Red Dead Redemption 2. And judging by the trailer, we'll find out how he got the scars. So here's another cool image of a younger John Marston. And it's not much, but, you know, it's something. And I'm glad that we're going to see more John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 2. Arthur Morgan is Dutch's right-hand man and leader enforcer of the Vanderlyn gang. Next image, real quick. Let's see some of the Vanderlyn gang from left to right. Okay, so this is going to give us an idea about who a lot of these people are. All right, so here we go. All right, so obviously from left to right, we have Dutch, and behind him is Bill Williamson, and that is confirmed Javier Escuela, according to IGN. Back there, you know, right beside Bill Williamson, Javier Escuela. So a lot of people were right about that. I mean, Javier Escuela looks a little different in Red Dead Redemption. I mean, not just graphically, but he wears a completely different outfit. And then, of course, Arthur Morgan in the center. And then behind him, in the far back, is unknown. So we don't know who that is in the very back. But this other guy who we saw in the Sons of Dutch quote in Trailer 3, his name is Micah Bell. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or Mackay Bell. And the female character, we finally have a name for her. Her name is Sadie Adler. So neither one of those two are called Blondie anymore. They actually have names. Micah Bell, the guy, and Sadie Adler, the female character. And then the one to the far right is unknown. So we still don't know their name. So we know a few more characters in the game now. Several old familiar faces from the first Red Dead Redemption, including Dutch, Bill Williamson, as well as Javier Escuela. And this is a real cool image. I like this shot here. It says this: if food and supplies are in abundance, spirits in the camp will be high. If people are hungry, the mood can turn sour. So it's extra incentive for you as Arthur Morgan to go out and actually get food for the camp and get supplies for them to keep them happy. At the same time, like we mentioned in, let's see, that Arthur Morgan article earlier, that doing so will unlock stuff like additional missions for you. So there is incentive for you to go out and actually do all this work for them and get them food, get them supplies, even though they probably could go out and do it themselves, but video games, right? Now, this is a very pretty shot. You have Arthur Morgan riding by a barn and some cows, and says this: ride close to someone else's land and they'll challenge you, asking what you want. So that is going to be very interesting. It's not going to be like you ride by some NPC and they're just going to keep doing what they're doing and they're oblivious to you riding by. They actually are aware of your existence in the world. So if you ride up to somebody's property and they got themselves a double-barrel shotgun, they may not be too friendly to you. Yeah, so you might want to be very mindful about whose property or farm you end up galloping on in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now look at this firefight that you have Arthur and Bill Williamson in. When Arthur and Bill emerge from the bank after clearing out the vault, the sheriff and his deputies are waiting. And so that means that they're smart. They're not going to, I guess they're not going to run in like idiots like in previous games and get murdered. They're going to get in position. They're going to like cordon off the area. They're going to set up behind wagons or behind barrels, and they're going to wait for you to come out like real law enforcement would do in a similar situation. So that makes sense. It's going to make it more challenging, but at the same time, realistically, it makes more sense them to do that than to run in like a bunch of idiots. And maybe there'll be a few that will do that, but I get the feeling that not all of them will. And here's a really cool image of Dutch and a lady friend of his, I suppose. Dutch's plan is to make as much money as possible before heading, quote-unquote, back out west to freedom. So he's all about getting back out west and making as much money, as much gold as possible in order to slip back out west and hopefully live a comfortable life and live the dream. And I don't know what her dreams are, but hey, how you doing? But it's still beautiful to see this tent, to see the detail, the books, along with the wagon in the background, somebody working by. I guess they're working on some logs, or they're doing something in the background, the trees. It's amazing to see how beautiful this game is, and I really can't wait till it comes out this October. So awesome. See, hunting with a bow rather than a gun results in a cleaner kill, making Red Dead Animal more valuable. So you are encouraged to use a bow over a gun. Because obviously whenever you shoot something with a gun, that's lead, and so you can, I guess, get lead poisoning or something. So it makes the animal more valuable, like meat-wise. And who doesn't want to go in stealth killing? That's one of my favorite things to do in Far Cry 5. So I'm actually looking forward to using a bow and arrow to go up and sneak up on deer and rabbits and even other players in Red Dead Online. Hopefully, right? Now, this is obviously a bank robbery, right? You got Morgan. He forces the bank teller to open the vault at gunpoint. Time is of the essence, so if he applies the necessary pressure to speed things up. I guess that's similar to when you rob a gas station in Grand Theft Auto Online. Like, the cashier will be quicker to put the money in the bag if you're like shooting up bottles and stuff, and you're like just making a point that, if you don't hurry the hell up, I am going to kill you. So I get the feeling that you're going to have the same ability as Arthur Morgan when it comes to holding up banks and trains and stagecoaches. You make yourself more intimidating. You scare the crap out of the NPCs that you're trying to rob and get money from. They're going to be quicker to comply with you. Now, this is a really awesome image of Arthur and members of the Vanderlyn gang on the run. And it says this: following a robbery in the town of Valentine, Arthur and his fellow gang members escape on horseback. So Confirmed there is a town in Red Dead Redemption 2 called Valentine. All right, so if we go by this map, okay, the map that leaked out, once again confirms that this is actually the Red Dead Redemption 2 map, at least a beta version of it. There's Valentine right there on this map that leaked out a few years ago. So that's Valentine. So that's where the robbery took place. So this once again confirms this map is the real deal. At least it's an original version. Maybe the map's bigger now. Maybe they changed a few things about the map, but this confirms it. That is a town that actually exists in the game. Clearly it says Valentine's right there. And it makes me wonder, like, are they going to call this New Bordeaux as well, this version of New Orleans in Red Dead Redemption 2? Or was that, once again, a placeholder because the version of New Orleans in Mafia 3 is also known as New Bordeaux? So I don't know how that's going to play out. But I guess we'll find out eventually. But, yep, confirms that the leaked map is legit. So for once, you know, something that was leaked out proves to be correct. It happens. All right, so the next photo we're looking at is John Marston and Sadie Adler fight for their lives. So this is obviously a younger looking John Marston by 12 years. We got a better image of him. And he's wearing a more similar outfit to his older self in the original Red Dead Redemption from 1911. And Sadie's sporting a different look. It looks like she has like a duster on. She has a bandolier. It looks like those might be shotgun rounds. They look too big to be for pistols. So so I guess that there might be some way to not only customize Arthur Morgan, but you might actually be able to customize some of the characters. Like you may be able to decide what John gets to wear, what Sadie gets to wear, or during certain missions throughout the game, they just happen to wear different outfits. That probably is the case. You probably won't be able to customize what they wear, but maybe we'll be able to customize like who we take with us. Like maybe we'll be able to take Marston and Sadie with us on missions, or Bill Williamson or Javier, depending on who you prefer, and each one has their own pros and cons. I don't know. I'd probably just leave Bill Williamson back at the camp if that was the case. I love this image. It is so cool. It's obvious like the sun is setting because of the color of the clouds. That's the way the sun is. It turns the clouds pink right whenever it sets, or whenever the sun's coming up. So it could be either or. But this is a really awesome shot. You got some birds, you got the plains, you got the trees, you got mountains in the background, and the way you have Arthur just standing there, it looks so epic. This is what it says. Red Dead 2's dynamic weather system means it can be sunny one minute and raining the next. Well, hopefully it doesn't rain all the time like it does in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online. And here's a cool shot of one of the many animals that will be featured in Red Dead Redemption 2. The area of New Hanover is filled with wildlife, from deer to rabbits, birds, and coyotes. Now here's one interesting thing I discovered. I haven't found New Hanover yet, but it's possible it might be on here. Then again, maybe they added it later on when they were continuing to develop the map. But this is Adler Ranch, and that could very well mean that in the Grizzlies, that's where you find Sadie. That's where Sadie is from, because she's an Adler. So Sadie Adler could reside from Adler Ranch. That's possibly where she comes from. That's, you know, it's a coincidence that there's an Adler Ranch and one of the characters in the game, it happens to be an Adler. So what a coincidence, right? All right, what were we doing? Oh, that's right, we were reading an article, weren't we? Wow, we got such a sidetrack there. We went off the beaten track. Anyways, continuing with the article. Yes, we're on the same article. For instance, in our 45-minute demo, well, IGN's 45-minute demo, I wish it was my demo. I wish I would have got invited, but hey, whatever. Let's see. We see a younger, less forbidding incarnation of Bill Williamson, the Dutch's gang. He doesn't call the shots and needs help from Arthur Morgan. Red Dead's new protagonist to pull off a small-time bank job at a local town of Valentine, which we just went over a moment ago. Bill has an obvious thirst for crime, but hasn't yet become the monster Marston will one day hunt down. We see Bill through the eyes of Arthur, a strong, dominant personality who appears to run Dutch's gang day to day. This changes the dynamic entirely. By casting us in the role of Arthur, not simply a younger Marston, Red Dead 2 opens up far more narrative possibilities. Not only seeing familiar faces in new ways, but to explore previously unknown but pivotal new character. It's something Nelson was keen to stress, quote, but it's a standalone tale. It's Arthur's story. We really wanted people to experience his story. You'll see a bit of John through his eyes. You'll see Bill. You'll see Javier. You'll meet lots of new characters. You'll get to learn a lot more about Dutch. This also confirms something else that a lot of people were wondering. Is it just going to be one protagonist or multiple protagonists, similar to Grand Theft Auto 5 with Michael, Trevor, and Franklin? According to this, it appears that the story is revolved solely around one protagonist, Arthur Morgan. Now, it could, eventually lead to a second protagonist, like, the first Red Dead Redemption, which would make sense. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. And for the record, Red Dead Revolver also technically had several protagonists. You had the main protagonist, Red Harlow, but you also, at least for one mission, you played the other characters in the game. So technically you had more than one protagonist in Red Dead Revolver. So it's nothing new when it comes to the Red Dead franchise. Facing a rapidly modernizing world, Dutch is somehow keeping his ragtag group of people together, living at the fringes of society. A confidant to Dutch, but also close to the gang members, Arthur feels like the character perfectly situated to recount the clouded circumstances of how this gang tore itself apart. Quote, "We know that some people may have never played the last one," Nelson says, "and if you haven't, shame." Continuing, "And you don't need any knowledge of the last one to experience this one to the fullest extent, but yeah, if you played the last one, there's lots of fun things. Perhaps the most intriguing for fans of the game is the role of former protagonist John Marston will play this time. While he's featured in the latest trailer, IGN suspects his role will be similar to that of several other members of the gang. IGN shares key moments with him, but that isn't his story." So this isn't John Marston's story, but at the same time, he'll have some story in Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously. More alluring is the mystery surrounding Arthur and why he was never mentioned by John in the last game. Obviously, this is because Arthur is a recent creation made specifically for Red Dead 2, but it'll be interesting to see if this somehow spun from a plot point. Why would John never mention such a prominent figure of the Vanderlyn gang? Rockstar realizes, despite its immense popularity, this will be the first for a lot of players to experience in the series. So a lot of people coming into Red Dead Redemption 2 have probably never played Red Dead Revolver, and unless you have an Xbox One, most likely you've never played, Red Dead Redemption, or maybe a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360, I guess. So yeah. Naturally, it doesn't want to hinge entirely on the knowledge of Marston's story and his exploits. By refocusing on a new character, it avoids this problem and remaining in close continuity with that game. It also opens up a range of fascinating narrative possibilities. Not only is the world of Red Dead getting bigger and more complex, but so is the story. So once again, this article is linked below in the description section. Feel free to read over yourself and check out the screenshots. They are awesome. And we are going to continue with the IGN Red Dead Redemption 2 Blitz. So we've knocked out Arthur Morgan. If you haven't checked out that video, it's already up on the channel. We just did this one. And I guess we will probably do this one next. We may do this one. I mean, I did do a breakdown trailer of my own, so I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'll look over this article, and if I feel like there's enough stuff that I miss that might merit it, then I might. But at the same time, I'm not the type of content creator that goes out of my way to make multiple videos a day. Like usually, if I can get one video up or one live stream a day, I'm a happy camper. But anyways, if you're new to the channel and you're excited for Red Dead Redemption 2 as much as I am, and if you want someone that's going to continue to let you know about what's happening regarding Red Dead Redemption 2, regarding articles, trailer breakdowns, screenshots, someone that's going to actually live stream Red Dead Redemption 2 when it comes out. Before that, we'll also stream Red Dead Redemption via the Xbox One X, probably leading up to launch, maybe like a few weeks prior. Someone that's really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2, you're welcome to join the GeauxBurns Nation. Hit the subscribe button. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Discord. All the links to the GeauxBurns Nation link below in the description section.